Hey everyone, I'm Danny Jack and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to book your first ever wedding photography clients. As well as being a wedding photographer, I help photographers turn their passion into a business. Whether that be with marketing or business strategy or mindset. If you're interested in seeing videos like that, press the bell icon, press like, press subscribe, and you'll see more videos like this one. So why are we talking about how to book your first wedding photography clients? Well, I find there's a lot of content on there about how you can use the wedding photos you have to start marketing, whether that be building a great portfolio website or, using Facebook ads or anything like that. But what do you do if you actually don't have any wedding photos to start off with? How do you get started on this journey of being a wedding photographer? How do you get your first bookings? In this video, we're going to cover 3 tactics I used in the past to get my first wedding photography clients. If you've got any ideas or anything that has worked for you in the past, please feel free to leave them in the comments. They'll be helpful to anyone starting out who's watching this video. So let's get into it with tip number 1. So the first thing I would recommend is reaching out to family and friends and just people who know you and letting them know that you are getting into wedding photography. Obviously, when you're first starting out, you don't have a huge reputation yet, people don't know you as a wedding photographer, but there are probably family and friends out there who are more than happy to let you photograph their wedding day. Maybe if they don't want a professional wedding photographer there on a day, maybe they don't have a budget for it, you can be that person to capture that special day. Now, I don't recommend this first tactic as a solid strategy to get started with. The reason why is obviously you don't know when your family and friends are getting married. This is a being in the right place at the right time kind of thing. But I know a lot of wedding photographers who got started this way. They just happened to be getting into wedding photography and, let people know, and someone said, oh, well, we're getting married and we haven't booked a photographer, come to our wedding, for example. As long as you have a portfolio of photos to show that you are technically capable to photograph a wedding day, of people and of events and stuff like that, then that might be enough to convince someone to let you photograph theirs. Alternatively, if you're invited to a wedding as a guest, there's nothing wrong with, I believe, bringing a camera to the wedding day as long as it's not, doing anything to get in the way of the actual wedding photographer or annoy the bride and groom. I see people bringing cameras all the time to wedding days, and I think that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you're not getting in the way, you're not standing behind a photographer or cutting in front in an important moment, anything like that. That's a really easy way to get a negative reputation in the industry very quickly. But yeah, just make sure that, you're staying out of the way, bring a small discreet camera, and you can build up a portfolio that way as well. This actually works really well nowadays because so many people love photography which isn't like the staged moments, and it isn't things like portraits. So if you've just got your camera and you're just capturing all the natural things which are happening on a wedding day, you can still get some awesome shots. One caveat to all of this, make sure that you are confident to be shooting this wedding. Someone's wedding photos are really important to them. If you aren't confident that you are going to be able to deliver something they're going to like, then maybe be honest with them. Don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself to deliver and possibly, kind of make things a little bit awkward between the two of you if you go wrong or anything like that. But I think as long as you are prepared, as long as you do your research, as long as you study and bring backups of cameras and stuff like that, then I'm sure you'll be totally fine. Tip number 2, which I think is a little bit more of an intentional strategy, is second shooting and assisting other photographers who are out there. So a lot of wedding photographers actually have a second photographer with them on a day to cover things like groom prep and get different angles during like the ceremony and just throughout the entire wedding day. And often they might look for people who haven't been in the industry as long as they have to be their second shooter. Second shooting is awesome because it's a great way to get to know the wedding photography world, to build up a great portfolio and without having too much pressure on you to get the key shots. Obviously, you still need to deliver, but I find that when I second shoot for wedding photographers, things are pretty relaxed. I don't have to get things like the group photos done, for example. So as long as I'm trying hard and as long as I'm doing the best I can, there's not too much pressure on me. The other added benefit of second shooting weddings for photographers who are maybe a bit further along than you is that you can build up a portfolio pretty quickly that will let you charge those higher prices. When you're first starting out, you might be shooting lower budget weddings, smaller, cheaper wedding venues and stuff like that, which is totally fine. Like, it doesn't matter, obviously where you're getting married, but normally the type of weddings you show in your portfolio will indicate what kind of prices you can charge. So if you're shooting like more higher budget weddings, normally you can charge a higher amount for your photography services. The other great thing about second shooting is that you get to build up this whole world of connections around you. All these other wedding photographers you get to know, whether that be as second shooters or just as friends. It's really helpful for you when you're first getting started in the industry. You can bounce off questions, people can mentor you, you can form little communities. Yeah, it's great. So to get started with becoming someone's second shooter or assistant, you have to reach out to them. You have to form relationships and form connections. Now, I think it's really important to not do this in a sleazy or spammy way. What I don't want you to do is go and email like 50 wedding photographers in your area with the exact same email saying, you know, I've loved your work for years, even though you've never really seen it. And I think the better approach is to be honest, to write emails, you know, from scratch each time, as opposed to like copying and pasting, because people can tell. And I think it's important to kind of have that natural and authentic approach. So you're bound to get a lot of rejections. You're going to get a lot of people who ignore you. But, you know, after I emailed like maybe 20, 30 photographers, I got a couple of yeses, and various photographers who I second shot with maybe 6 years ago, I'm still friends with today. They give me work because they've moved on from wedding photography now. I photographed one of the photographers I second shot for, I photographed her wedding, so that was awesome. So it does require a little bit of patience. You never know who's going to get back to you. It requires a very honest approach, nothing spammy, and you know, just let people know that you're there to help them, not what they can give to you. You know, offering to help in whatever way you can. I wouldn't, you know, ask for money when you're first, second shooting. It's more important to build up that relationship, build up your portfolio, build up experience, and just leave money aside for the time being. So tip number 3, and one which worked really well for me when I was first starting out, was offering free engagement or couple shoots. So when I first decided to start a wedding photography business, I didn't have any wedding photos in my portfolio at all, and I hadn't even second shot at this point. But I decided to put out a free kind of post on Facebook, just saying that, you know, I'm just getting into wedding photography. Would anyone like a free couple shoot? You know, just so that I can practice. And that was the original intention, was just to practice, just to learn how to pose couples, how to, you know, look at light when I'm doing portrait photography, that kind of thing. But this soon kind of spiraled into essentially me doing like a whole bunch of engagement shoots totally for free, just for practice, just for fun, just for me to kind of build up a portfolio. But what happened was, not only did I get a cool engagement shoot portfolio, I also had a bunch of couples who were due to get married, who hadn't booked their wedding photographer yet, who suddenly trusted me and liked my work, even though they hadn't seen any of my wedding photos whatsoever. So what happened is they ended up booking. I ended up maybe shooting like 10 couples photos who hadn't seen any of my wedding work at that point. And that was really, really great. So what I did is I took that a little bit further. I turned this into a Facebook ad. You know, I put an ad out just saying free couple shoots with every inquiry. And I started getting the ball rolling, and people were into getting, you know, free couple shoots. So yeah, that worked really, really well for me. It's not something I would do so much now because I don't do a lot of couple shoots on a wedding day. But as a way in, it worked fantastically well. No idea how well it would work now with Facebook ads. This is about 5 or 6 years ago. But yeah, worth a try. Maybe doing the same thing, putting them in, you know, those wedding Facebook groups. You know, the ones looking for supplies and stuff. Just letting people know, hey, I am just getting into wedding photography. Would anyone like a free couple shoot? And maybe we can have a coffee afterwards. Yeah, maybe don't even mention the coffee part, and they'll email you after they love the photos. So that is it for me. That is what I think are the 3 main ways to book your first wedding photography clients. Obviously, if you have any other ideas, please leave them in the comments, and I will let other people know that they are there. If you found any of this stuff helpful, I run a website called Shot Takers. There's a link in it below. It has all the stuff you need to turn your passion into a business, whether that be with marketing or be with business strategy or productivity or SEO or Facebook marketing, all that kind of stuff. I offer one-to-one coaching as well. So if that's something you're looking for, please do get in touch. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and please press like, please subscribe, press the bell icon, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.